Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Second video today. Sick news. The other stuff is like whatever. I don't really care that much about Monica, but I know a lot of people do, so I still want to get that video out there. Regardless, this is the big news to me this morning. It's the official announcement from Konami that Terminal World 2 is coming late this November in the OCG. This set rocks. I think last year this set was awesome. They picked 4 cards from the dual terminal lore and gave them 4 cards of support each, and honestly just really solid quality support. Not that every archetype was awesome afterwards, but like right now, Ritual Beast, solid rogue deck. If Snake Eye didn't completely overshadow Infernoids, I think Infernoids could potentially be like a good rogue deck. Maybe if Snake Eye gets hit hard on the ban list, that'll actually come through. As well as Ice Bear actually has seen a little bit of rogue play as well. The Gen X stuff is whatever. Gen X was so far behind everybody else, but still solid support for what we're talking about here. As far as today, though, we get the official announcement for Terminal World 2. It's going on sale in the OCG November 23rd, so we're probably not going to get our own Terminal World like we didn't with the first one. They'll get imported into something like a Battles of Legend, like we got this year. So we may have to wait for something like that, but still, it'll come eventually. And we also have 2 of the 4 archetypes officially confirmed already. Those archetypes are confirmed to be Fabled and Jurrac. These are 2 very specific archetypes that I think like they have some very spicy things going on for them. The first thing with Fabled is Fiendsmith. Looking at Fiendsmith, there were like 2 archetypes in the entire game that I thought had better synergy with Fiendsmith than literally every other deck in the game. Number 1 was Fabled. Number 2 was Magical Musketeer, because they're an entire archetype basically of Light Fiends. Their whole deck is like basically just got 3 more Rotas, 3 more cards that search 3 more Rotas, and now the like end board potency of what Fiendsmith allows you to do, the safety of being able to beat Nib more consistently, all that stuff. And in fact, even the Rota gives you discards, which has even more synergy with Fabled because they all get you pluses when they're discarded. Not to mention, a couple of years ago, we actually got Fabled support, like 5 new cards. They didn't completely turn the archetype around, but for a very outdated archetype, it was like a nice little wave of cards that actually gave them a little help keeping up. And I think that could come into play here with these 4 new cards. You tell me 4 more cards now on top of the 5 cards they got 3 or 4 years ago. That is a recipe for success, especially when combined with something like Fiendsmith. So I think this is kind of scary. I'm hoping that I don't think Fiendsmith is necessarily the huge problem in the game right now. I think if Snake Eye and then maybe the power level of Yubel goes down a little bit with a ban list, I do think the format could actually be relatively cool. In which case, this could actually be one of the cool decks to actually take advantage of Fiendsmith rather than, clearly best deck in the game running the entire format level like we're kind of seeing currently with Snake Eye. And the second archetype being Jurak. This one's definitely really interesting as well. This is maybe the worst archetype in all of the dual terminal lore. I'm not kidding. I made a video talking about like going through every dual terminal archetype once we got dual terminal 1 and like seeing like, oh, for the potential of like a dual terminal 2, who's like set up well to only need 4 cards and be solid, like Infernoid, like Ritual Beast. They had decent setups prior. They just needed a strong new wave, and that's what they got. This is the worst dual terminal archetype. I mean, I'm not kidding. When you go through the cards in this archetype, they are terrible. So I'm here to say this. I do not expect Konami to come through and fix Jurrac with 4 cards. I just don't. I think it's entirely more likely we see something way more similar to like what Naturia got like 2 or 3 years ago, which was 3 new cards that almost entirely forsake all the cards prior, aside from like small things. Like you played Sunflower, I think, is the monster negator, and then the old world tree card. Other than that, it was basically a whole new engine that could be played in different decks. You know what I mean? Allowed, gave, other archetypes, a nice little boost. And it was a really good in just like 4 or 5 cards self-sufficient engine that just handled itself. That's what they're going to have to do, I think. If you go through, there's not a single main deck monster that I was impressed by, not a single spell I was impressed by. Now, There's already Fossil Dig and Oviraptor and stuff, and that's where I do think more than likely this may just end up being a new generic dinosaur package. I'd be happy with that, because Dino's been pretty irrelevant for a while. With Misket 1, they're fair enough, where if this is just a good engine that helps them get a little better and maybe even just back into at least rogue level, I think that'd be cool. So I'd like to see it. Hopefully it's just, that's in my opinion what I want them to do, is just make a 4-card engine that if it needs to be dinosaur specific support, then so be it. There's enough dinosaur lovers out there that that'd be totally fine with me, and I think with most of them. Or just like a generic engine in general, like Naturia, where like, oh, we saw Naturia Runic, we saw Naturia Vernisylph, like messing around, right? Like just a couple different decks that like, we're like, oh, yeah, we can just mess with that. That's cool. And go from there. But, yeah, those are my thoughts really on these two archetypes. Other than that, you guys know I've already made a video talking about what I really want the most. The archetype I want the most by far is Zefra. It's my favorite pendulum deck, and maybe even my like second or third favorite deck of all time. I'd love for them to make like pure Zefra playable again, just like a decent boost to the engine in the main deck to be able to get to more, just push more, have a 1-card play. It doesn't have to be out of this world crazy 1-card combo, but like, oh, that's a play that does something. Your opponent has to hand trap it. Right now the deck does not have a 1-card play that does that, which is kind of brutal. But yeah, that'd be my number 1. Number 2, probably Evil Swarm. I think they could be like a newer, better version of like Evil, either Altergeist or Exosister. They're kind of like this rank 4 control deck. They have some good trap cards. They have some good extra deck monsters already. They just honestly need, if they made 4 cards and they were all just 4 nasty cards that even if they locked themselves into Evil Swarm, said, we're making rank 4s out the ass. We are just pumping level 4 bodies onto the field like nobody's business. That would literally be enough, I think, to at least make them like a rogue deck in modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! Because their traps and extract monsters are actually already quite solid and scary. But yeah, that's what we got. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you want the other, well, I guess 2 things for this video specifically. Let me know in the comment section down below what you want to see Konami do with the Fabled and Jurrac archetypes, the archetypes you already know about. And then secondly, what 2 archetypes do you want to fill those other 2 slots? I mean, I'm also assuming here, oh no, it does say officially here that there are 4 themes. So they're going with the same format, most likely, that they did for last year's one, which is exciting because if this one does well as well, 4 more next year, potentially, for a Terminal World 3. And then you're talking 8 archetypes kind of been moved out of the way. There's only less than 20 left. That means one of your favorite archetypes has an even better chance going forward. So even if you don't hit yours this year, there's still hope going forward. You may just have to be patient about it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. This is really hype for me. I'm definitely going to be thinking about this for a while going forward and being really excited to see what the other 2 archetypes are and what they do with these 2. I'm not super personally invested in these 2 archetypes, but if they take them in the right direction, I could see myself messing with dinos, messing with Fabled Fiendsmith down the line, something like that. You never know. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, I will see you in the next video. Stay tuned for all things Yu-Gi-Oh! News for the TCG. Peace.